if you scan the license plate, it can take a while to look up police records. It's not instantaneous in real world. So once those records are ready, you get a notification, a little alert on your arm to look at that. And yeah, we 3D printed that. It's made out of PLA. We don't actually have the sensors in the model here, but you can see where they're attached.
And this is, yeah, I'm going to try to mount this to my arm to show more or less how it, yeah. I don't think you all can hold it, but we have editing abilities in the room. So it's kind of like this. So the way that you would, as a police officer, you go, you need information or you have information to check, you bring it up, and then you'll see the display here. Once you don't need it anymore, it goes away. We also have, like Mark was saying, some alert systems with different levels of alert. So you can get a green alert, which is just to say that there's information ready, but there is no risk associated with it. If you get a yellow alert, it's kind of a medium risk. For example, let's say the driver may have had an outstanding ticket or something. And if it's somebody who's with an outstanding warrant or someone who may be wanted, then you'd get a red warning. And these warnings are all in the periphery of your overview. So the idea is that we don't distract the officer with unnecessary information, and they can keep their eyes always on the scene. And another thing that's important to mention is that this design was informed by a 6 months study of the police officers' processes, so that we could see the gaps and opportunities for design.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I hope that you guys heard that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Is the video muted for anyone? I don't know if I change the volume of the video, it changes only for me.
Yeah, I can't hear it. Oh, now I can.
You can?
Yeah, it was just restarting.
Yes.
It only mutes for you, I think, because it's still, I can hear it unless I turn it down.
Good.
So.
All right.
And this is the model if you want to have a look on it.
This isn't a question, but I just wanted to say this is like really fantastic use of the space. It's pretty cool. I was floating around in the lobby, so thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you. This is also a little bit of improvement from our Monday session, because we added parts of the poster to the walls rather than the entire poster. So you can see this from a little bit of a distance a little better.
Yeah,
it looks really good.
Actually read the text.
Yeah.
What kind of controller do you have?
Oculus Touch. I mean the Quest controller.
Yeah, I think Dave had a problem with the Oculus Quest grabbing these, but with...
I'm wearing the Quest.
So I can manipulate?
Oh, you can manipulate it with the Quest? You can manipulate
it
with the Quest?
But I think only
and this is our armband display. So
well, the thing is that we are room.
The idea is that the officer is going to wear this, and then he can like see this information on demand. So when he brings on, he brings his arm on his face, like in front of him, he can see all this information.
You can.
You can. So you just point at the video and.
But it's public. It's like, if I change it, then everyone will receive the same.
No, it's just for you.
No? Already?
Yeah, it's muted for me now.
Oh.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
If I restart, will you see
it's only going to restart for you, yeah. Oh, no.
Only changing for me.
It's a little bit confusing. If you restart or play or pause it, it will do it for everyone, but the volume is exclusively for you.
And everybody has ability to manipulate the video pausing, restarting, etc.
Yeah, that's a bit of a pain, actually. That's something that other people have raised as being a bit of an issue if you're doing a public viewing, that everyone can pause it and play it. But that's the way it works right now.
So can you? So do you see a restart, Reggie?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's a
video
share.
manipulation is public. Video volume is
It's personal, yeah.
personal. Hey, Elgin, nice to see you in an avatar. We've exchanged several messages.
Oh, hello. I didn't see your first name there. That's great. Thank you for your feedback and stuff, too. It was really great that you pinged us about the questions that you had and whatnot. We're doing a planning meeting for a roadmap coming up on Monday. And so it's been really good to sort of stress test, people's experience, and hopefully we can like design new features that will help to prevent some of these issues that you came up with.
Absolutely, and I think you've never had such.
Hello.
I'm assuming this is the largest gathering of people that you ever had for one event at Hubs,
yes.
right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it was like pretty last minute that everything kind of came together in a lot of ways, right? Because it was supposed to be just like a little workshop off of IEEE VR, not kind of the main focus. So I've been very pleased with how things have gone, and I appreciate that all the participants so far have been really like giving us great feedback and stuff too.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how you were able to pull it together in shy of 3 weeks, I think, right?
Yeah, and this space turned out really cool. I've taken a bunch of like screen captures of it. I hope you don't mind, just because I think this is a really neat example of like really using the space, right? Because you've got everything spread out. All the text is really readable, and like I love that you've got links and stuff to different assets that people can explore. This is really neat.
Thanks to Geronimo. Geronimo came in.
Yes, I have the
things about.
Oh yes, thank you.
This is great.
Yes, and also you could import some models that we have worked on. So then you could add here. And also Mark is wearing one of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Hi, Scott. Can you hear me? I don't hear you.
He sent a message.
You're here. Okay. All right.
He has no sound right now.
And where are you two based?
Sorry?
Where are you two located?
We are located in North Carolina, Greensboro.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I'm in Durham.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Well, I'm really happy that people could still get together and share their hard work too, even though the actual physical conference was canceled.
Yeah,
yes.
This is good.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, what were you saying? I was just asking what you were saying.
Oh, no, I said this is the next best thing from being in a live, like in-person demo. So
yeah,
it's great that we're able to get this together. Is anybody else on a quest here? Is it just, there's one thing that happens to me, and this is feedback for you also, Elgin, in the quest, and this has happened consistently through, like in this room for these models. I don't see any shading in the model, just see a flat.
So this is something that we're working on at the moment. So for performance reasons, the lighting and a lot of the shaders are turned off, so you might find that it does look a little bit different in Quest. It has to do with sort of the power of the Quest, and like it's on mobile phones as well that we turn it off. However, we're working at implementing some light baking features into Spoke that would mean that you could actually have objects that have the light baked into them, which would improve performance for Quest. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, it makes sense now.
Yeah. No, it's a little surprising though when you go into like some spaces look really like dark and kind of romantic on desktop and on desktop VR, and then you go into it on Quest and it's really bright and kind of like an office environment almost.
Hey Scott. We cannot hear you.
Can you walk me through this research a little bit, just very quickly?
Yes. So, just a second. Our idea here is to simulate next generation user interfaces for law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So we have been researching this for a couple months ago. Sorry, and we have done requirement analysis with police officers, and we have come with this design that's specific for traffic stops right now. So the idea is to have on-demand information while they are performing the traffic stop. So we have come with this idea of on-demand arm display. So while they are performing the traffic stop, the system can scan the license plate and also the driver's license, and it feeds we simulate like a search on the databases, and then we feed the ARM display with that information. So in this video here over here, we show like the situational awareness interface that we have created. So the system simulates like the identification of different objects, and we can think that this could be available in the future, right? Like identification of license plate, it's already we already have this information, and then we can like simulate, give convey the information to the officer, like with vibration and also with differences on color as well. So higher the alert, higher the intensity of the notification, the alert. In this case, he receives a vibration on his arm, and also the color changes, and also we have this hollow red image on this that we can see here as well, on your left. That so when it's a high alert, then we have this information here, and over there we have a video showing how the on-demand information display works. If you come with me, so that's the idea. So when the officer brings his arm looks at his arm, he can see the information, and he has control over like some buttons, virtual buttons that he can press and access the information, and the display fades away when it's not on view. So it not bothers the officer when he's doing the traffic stop. So that was our features.
Gotcha.
Yes. So and here in the middle, you can see
because you don't notice like
the armband that we have developed. And Mark, can you talk more about your development on the armband?
Sure. So, of course, the first challenge with this was to track the armband. So we first tried Triangle Semiconductor's Shoto tracking kit, encountered issues with that, and apparently other groups had encountered issues with it as well. So we tried Virtual Build's Pebble kit, which included 24 infrared track sensors and an Atmel board, and it works with SteamVR. So we use the SteamVR HDK to help us determine the correct placement for the sensors. And then I 3D printed the model, and we've been testing that out. So that's what you see here. Now, one question that we sometimes get is like, why do we go with an armband and not, say, just a heads-up display that's attached to your glasses or something like that? And the advantage of the armband is that it's easily tucked out of the way. Like, let's say there's an urgent situation, the officer has to divert his attention to that. He drops his arm to his side. Once it leaves your field of vision, or once it we haven't, well, we're still working on exactly when it's going to turn off, but you can have it so like you drop it below a certain point, it disables, and it's not obstructing your view.
That answered my question about why it was going to be an armband. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Happy to help.
And can I ask like a little bit more about like the bigger picture? Like, why is it that you decided to go for like traffic stops as a use case? Is that related to a different research program, or is it just something that you thought would be useful?
Well, okay, well, I can, sure. Well, we were looking for a scenario that was fairly common, that we could replicate. And when we interviewed the officers, we got a sense of what scenario would make most sense for us to focus on to start with. And we had a list of a number of scenarios. We reviewed them and then decided on traffic stop. The larger project isn't just for law enforcement, but we're also working with other first responder organizations, EMS and fire as well. And each of them, we have a set of scenarios that we're choosing from. And so we decided to focus on this one first.
Okay, very cool. That's super interesting.
I can say just a little more. Sorry, Mark, I was muted. So
I thought so, maybe.
Yeah, but no. So one of the reasons why we decided, because we wanted to have a police scenario, and a traffic stop made sense after we did our requirement analysis and interviewed cops and looked at their workflows. One of the reasons is that like traffic stops, 99% of the time they are really routine and no escalation and very like low level of risk. But exactly because of that, when you have a situation that can escalate, the officers may be caught off guard. And that's one of the reasons why there's also a lot of profiling and stuff that happens in traffic stops, because officers become just anxious because they don't have all the information and all that. So our idea was to allow design this interface that will eventually, in a few years, be feasible in the real world, so that they don't need to go back and forth to the car, for example, because that's one thing where they lose sight of the driver, and that's where they can be really vulnerable. And another thing that I think Mark was alluding to before is we cannot have the information blocking their view, because they need to have eyes on the driver. And so the fact that you have a display that you can bring up as you need and let go when you don't need it, and the fact that the display is semi-transparent and all that all we believe helps with maintaining your situational awareness, which is so important. Now, the next step of our project is to actually evaluate this situational this UI in terms of situational awareness and other things, such as interaction and realism of the interaction, so that we can actually have evidence that this may actually be beneficial.
And speaking of situational awareness, one of the key features of this armband heads-up display is that it's referencing the car's computer. And at a traffic stop, the officer is going through multiple databases, looking things up, and that information isn't always instantly available. Sometimes it's requested through dispatch, and it takes a while to appear. And this way, the officer gets as much information as he can, and then he approaches the vehicle, and he might get an alert on his arm indicating that, oh, there's this other record that was discovered, or maybe turns out the car was stolen, and that didn't show up when he was back in his car. So the more information they have access to, the better. And this just gives them access to other info that they wouldn't get while they were approaching the vehicle.
That's super cool. Thank you for sharing this. I'm really happy that I popped in here to check out your work.
Cool. Thank you for
Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Good questions.
Hey, Scott, can you hear us? I understand you may not have a microphone, but if you can hear us, can you type? Scott is actually our program master.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, good. Okay, cool. So let us know, type any question that you have because you can see the.
Hello, Elgin.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Carlos.
Yeah,
Hey, I didn't.
there may be something going on with hubs as well that sometimes. Oh, how many sensors? 24, Mark?
Yes.
Do you guys mind if I record this?
Go right ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I'm working for IEEE, and so I just talked to another person, and they were fascinated by your demo here. You know what
that's good.
What I would like to do actually is to wait for somebody that comes in here, and that you explain it to them, and then I'll record it then.
Sure.
So I would prefer, unless you want to do it.
So we start our spiel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So Scott, another thing about the armband that we just made it to the conference, but the quality of the tracking is really amazing. We put that right next to the Vive Puck, and they have the same. If they're sitting around, they will be quite stable, and if there's any jerking, the puck jerks together. So I think we got to a level of tracking quality that mimics the gold standard.
And also regarding the vibration, right now we are using the controller to convey the vibration, but we are working on putting the vibration on the armband as well.
The vibration feedback, right? The haptic feedback for alert.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
there's an add-on board that lets you add haptics, trackpad, buttons. So I have that on order, as well as a few little haptic motors that are going to go in there soon, hopefully.
All right, Elgin, I think she's good.
Is it bulletproof?
Yeah, that's the next version, I guess. So this is how I would. Yes.
Yep.
Regular base stations, and it detects immediately, right? There's no extra configuration steps or anything that needs to be done, right, Mark?
No, it pairs automatically. As long as the sensors are where they say they should be in the JSON file, it picks right up on them and pairs it.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.
Okay.
Very interesting. It's interesting. So, are the person that's speaking mostly? Are you German?
Me?
Yes.
No, I'm Brazilian.
Brazil.
It's interesting that I am of German heritage. Okay, Scott. Let's see. Yeah, because it could be that. I do have German heritage, and I look German. A lot of times, people think that I'm German because of the way that I look. Yeah. But you are asking that from without seeing how I look, so it may be how I sound, really.
We look similarly.
I think also the thing is that you guys are using an Audi, and you're using an orange Audi, which is like, stop me because I am going to drive very fast, and I love the Autobahn.
Yeah, right. Are you from Germany or?
No, I'm actually in Texas, and I'm originally Mexican.
Okay.
So born and raised in Mexico.
Yeah, using an Audi. Brazilians like German cars.
Yes, well, everybody does.
You know that Geronimo in Brazil, he owns a Volkswagen bus. What is it, 1976 or something like that?
75, yes.
Yeah.
I have a picture. I'm gonna bring that. No,
what color is it? Is it red or blue?
It's blue, yeah.
Aqua blue or dark blue?
More on the aqua blue, yeah.
Yeah, it's a classic color.
Yeah, nice. It's a classic.
With all the windows around it.
Yeah, with the windows around, yeah. 12 windows, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember, actually.
How many seats, Geronimo?
Sorry?
How many seats?
Is for 9 people. You can three rows.
For three, yeah.
Yes.
Well, this...
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think in the future, they'll be able to build technology into the cars so that officer, when he walks up to it, it'll display everything about the car, how many accidents, how many tickets it has, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, I can hear
you.
you.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you as well.
I'm gonna take a selfie of us here. Can you guys see the camera?
It's really slow right now, but I can.
So let's see if I can place it. This is all experiment. Okay, so we have the armband there. Okay, so I'm gonna press and 3, 2, smile.
Smile.
Oops. Got it?
Well, thanks for being here. Hopefully you were able to hear a lot of what we're saying, but let us know if you have other questions.
Yeah, no, this has been great. I've been able to hear everything. I apologize for not being able to use my mic.
No, that's fine. As you can probably imagine, this has been a very large experiment for everybody.
Yeah, but I love
to put the conference together.
Love the layout of the room where you can kind of showcase different videos and the snapshot of the technology. So it's that's kind of a great setting for a virtual meeting.
Yes, we're finding that out that it's working really well.
Unfortunately, we cannot showcase our demo, but we have the video and we have the models as well. So yeah.
Geronimo, don't forget to save the picture.
Oh
yes. That you just took.
It was me, but do I have to save it?
Yeah, you can open it on your desktop and then you can save it.
Oh, okay.
You're you're in VR, I can see.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
But it should be somewhere when I go back to. And I'm keeping the armband where it's supposed to be. I need to be gripping to here. So I bet I can let it go.
No.
What was it like to set up a room like this?
Oh, sorry?
What was it like to set up the room like this?
It was interesting. At first, we tried to, they have two tools basically to edit the room. One is in the room itself, and that's terrible because you don't have precise controls. So everything gets warped and at an angle and all that. But then they have this, what is it called?
I forgot, but it's
a Unity-like tool that opens up in the browser, and then you can position stuff exactly where you want. And so by doing that, we're able to be much better here. I'm gonna tweet later, so I'm gonna tweet the picture that I took.
How come there's no samba music?
Yeah, there should be one, right?
And guys, because I can clear all the names, well, actually I could leave them. I can do a little 30-second video of you guys standing in front of your booth and then send it to you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, would that be nice?
I don't mind my name being up there.
Yeah. So let me get in position here. Can you fly in this room?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just writing a tweet, so you can fly. I'll be right back. I'm typing with 2 controllers right now. Okay, it's tweeted at Hedges VT or Regis VT. You guys can see that. VT is in Virginia Tech.
I think I came in the other day when you guys were getting set up. I remember Regis and
Geronimo. I think so.
Yeah,
yes.
Geronimo Grandi.
Yes.
That's weird. Okay, good.
I'm gonna put this picture outside, so
you can
this one as well.
If you save it, and then you can get rid of it from the environment.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna throw it out there now.
Casually toss it outside.
So one thing that
pollution.
Okay, can.
Hi, Mud. Nice to see you.
Do you want the names on or off?
You can.
I'm fine with names on. I think that it's actually good.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what I do is, Maud, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do a video of these guys. If you can get behind me, unless you want to be in the video. Okay.
So
And then,
I don't know if that. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if that's important for you, if you're gonna do anything with it. But Zekun over there is a graduate student in my lab. Geronimo is a postdoc, and Mark actually works at Duke with engineering IT, and he is doing research with me as well.
and we have Tuka here too from Finland. Mr. Domo arigato. I'm going to do, Tuka, I'm going to do a video of them. Oh, you guys are all spawning in the same place. No wonder. Right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
If you guys can step behind the camera, Myrtle. Does Regis, do you want to talk, or one of you guys want to just give say we're here at the triple E thing? Any kind of words?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys looking at the camera or looking at the content?
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Me. You're looking at me.
Yeah, so turn around. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm going to count you down. I'm going to go 3, 2, and then I'm going to hit record on 1, and then you start talking after that, okay?
Okay.
All right.
3, 2.
Hi, everybody. We are here at our research demo at the IEEE Virtual Reality Conference in our virtual hubs room. We are demoing our research demo that's entitled Simulating Next Generation User Interfaces for Law Enforcement Traffic Stops. And the idea of our demo is that we are using virtual reality to simulate technology that's not yet available to improve the security and experience of law enforcement agents in traffic stops.
Okay, record it. Very nice.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too long, so.
No, it's okay.
That was good.
It's good.
So the file, let me see what size it is. It's right here next to me. It's 46 megs.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, who do I send it to?
You can send it to me, and I can distribute it.
So
you could send it on Slack if you wanted.
I'll do it.
That might be the easiest.
What I'll do is, what I've been doing is to Google Drive.
Okay.
And I'll just add you, I'll share the folder with you. And if you could just let me know through email that you got it, that would be nice. And what I'm going to need is an email. Is it an easy email?
My email is easy. It's copper. Can you see my last name here?
Yeah,
at gmail.com.
Let me put it, can you put it in the text, please?
Okay, I'm in VR, so it'll be a little bit, but
yeah, it's okay. Say, tell me, it was copper what?
Sorry, hold on. I don't know if you can hear me now, but I'm not in the room.
Tuka, is that your TV in the background?
No, it's someone else. I muted myself.
Huh, thank you. It sounds like Japanese.
And it's outside. On the sky over there.
Oh.
Nice.
It's a private interview.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so I gave you my work email, which is...
That's good. I got it. Cooper at UNCG at... All right. I will... I'm going to send it to you right now. So I've got Google... Okay. I've got Google Drive open right now, and I'll create a folder.
Cool. So I think this is the longest the other day, and now that I've been wearing a head-mounted display. I was for over an hour, and now I'm well over 30 minutes, I think.
Hello.
And it's working fine.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Evan.
Oh yeah, we have two people that are really far away over the mountains who are talking right now. That's what we're hearing in the background.
Who has the little kid running around in the background?
Oh, that's probably my toddler in the basement.
Oh, really?
At this moment, it's not me, but it could well be me at some point.
I think I heard some horses or something.
Horses? Hey, Evan. I'm gonna play the video here so that you guys can watch it. Questions?
Yeah. Hey, I got to hop off for another call, but it's great seeing you guys virtually.
Yeah, well, thanks for dropping by, Scott, and I hope that this eased up a little on your your staying at home quarantine thing.
Yeah, no, this is great. Getting into the virtual space. We'll have to connect this way again in the near future. See ya.
See you.
Yes, absolutely. See you around.
Still up there.
Hey, Zakun, do you understand what they are talking about?
It's
are
actually
talking about
Hugo
what?
and
There's two
someone else.
people talking in Chinese on the sky over
Yeah,
there.
they're right over there in the distance, Jubo, and I think they don't realize they're still being heard.
Cannot hear anything.
So how do you pronounce your name?
My name.
No,
Yeah. No.
Wilfred.
Tuka or
No.
how is it
Yeah,
pronounced?
you pronounce it Tuukka.
Tuka.
Is that it, Tuka?
That's his first
Yeah, that's
name.
my first name.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Takala is your last name?
That is correct.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was, because I heard someone say Tuka before. I was like, how would you read that as Tuka?
Well, we talked before.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I thought that it could be written as Takala but pronounced as Tuka.
No.
Okay, Regis, I shared that folder with you. You should get it soon.
Okay, Carlos. Yeah, I'm gonna be here in VR for a little bit, so
Yeah, no worries.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna sit now, but I'll let you know.
Obrigado.
De nada. Por nada.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take
De nada.
off. De nada, yeah. Oh, gracias
Okay.
a ti.
Gracias a ti. Está bien. ¿Cómo está la situación en Texas?
Muy bien, todo tranquilo. A mí no me afecta mucho. Tengo un gato y un perro y...
Es todo lo que precisa.
Sí. Y también tengo realidad virtual.
Perfecto.
Okay, guys, I have a wonderful time and I hope to see you around before the conference is over.
All right, Carlos. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Hey, Martin. Let us know if you have any questions.
The on-demand display is attached to the arm and shows relevant information about the license plate. The interface simulates the recognition of objects relevant for the traffic stop, such as the license plate, the driver's license, and suspicious objects. Haptic and visual alerts convey situational awareness clues that represents the status of the findings. Higher the risk, higher alert intensity.
If you guys have any questions,
So you don't have any VR to be using Zekun?
Such as the license plate, the driver's license, and suspicious objects.
I only bring the Mac laptop in my house.
Awareness clues that represents the status of the findings.
Well, you should have brought some like an Oculus or something.
Okay. I plan to do it. Bring Windows laptop and probably the Windows Next Reality or the Oculus from the UNCG this week or next week, because we need to start the create.
Go there though, because there's a stay-at-home order now.
Higher the risk,
Yeah.
higher alert intensity.
Stay-at-home order is just for Durham, right?
Well, it's Wake County.
Did the police have a British accent on purpose?
Yes, it was just for the recording. Like the idea was like to have like different voices for each avatar. So so we just choose the British voice for the police officer.
Right. Can you shoot in this demo?
No. This demo is just for like to show the armband display and the situational awareness that we have created.
Like I have a new laptop and
Right.
Well, the old
Are you thinking about building an actual like physical armband or?
Yes, we have the physical armband actually. If you go over there on the table, that's the 3D printed. The 3D model for the.
Was it the Quest that was arriving in the mail the other day?
So we have printed this armband. So and then we can attach to the arm.
For like a week, I don't know what's going on.
So this is the actual model that we are using right now.
Did you order an index or the index?
And then
what are all these holes?
These whole rows are for the sensors, so we can track this device as a controller.
Well, the headset.
So we are using the HTC the Vive's tracking system, and we add the sensors here, and then we can track this armband as it was a controller. So instead of a controller,
each hole has like one HTC Vive sensor.
Because it was.
Yes, this is like one. I think it's infrared sensor that goes here. In this device, it has like 24 sensors.
I ordered like 2,000
and yes, and then you can control it with a board, and then you can track this. These are. I can bring this.
And didn't take too long to arrive, but other orders I've placed since then.
Yeah, and I ordered the same order. It was like
I'm bringing the 3D model here.
Like, whatever.
Okay.
So and this one you can use it like this.
For like bathroom stuff.
So when the officer is like with his arms down, the display is not appearing like showing, but when he do this, the displays appear like this. So you can, and then you can touch the buttons and see information about the vehicle and also about the driver. So it's on demand. So we don't need to. You don't have the display always in your face. It's only you can see only when it's needed. You can grab it if you want.
I don't know if I can because I'm using the desktop mouse. So
you can grab it with your mouse if you want. I don't know if you clicking on it. I don't know. But that's the idea.
Yeah, but I think I was just curious because it seems like, well, I don't know how many the Vive tracker. I wonder how many light sensors it has.
Just realized I might be blocking the screen, so I'm gonna move out of the way.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
No, because I was wondering if this thing has more of those sensors than the Vive tracker has.
Okay. Because
yeah, Mark can. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good question. How many? I could take my headset off and see how many the Vive tracker has, but this has 24. It can accept up to 32, actually.
Right.
Our device has 24 right now, but it doesn't really need all of them.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, how did you figure out that that would be a good number?
How many did we start with, Mark?
I started
eight
with
or
8.
6?
Yeah, I started with 8, and
eight was way too little.
Yeah, so I ended up just adding all of them. And so next we're going to go through and disable a few and see what difference that makes.
But the thing though is that the tracking kit has all the. It's not like you can. When you get the tracking kit, you have the board and the 24 or however many track sensors. So it only makes sense to use less if you would improve anything, right? It's not like you can repurpose it for something else.
Yeah, and now the next iteration probably isn't going to need 24. Ideally, we'd go for the highest quality tracking with the fewest amount of sensors. We'd have them strategically placed. So let's say we do need to incorporate buttons into the design or something else. They wouldn't end up taking all that real estate.
And the reason why you did this and not use a Vive tracker is because you wanted to feel like exactly like the kind of final product.
Well, we wanted to have a system in place to create props that are as close in real life as they would be in VR. So you could have a prop where you attach a tracker to your wrist or something like that, but you don't get the form factor that's the same. Also, the balance can be a little different. So you have this puck sitting on top of your arm moving around.
The weight distribution is different.
Yeah, so you can get the center of gravity a little more centered with something like this.
And this we can also incorporate buttons and other stuff that, as we deem useful. One thing that we haven't tested yet, but we might as well try, is to see how well we can have buttons that are like how well we registered from a physical button to a virtual button. And I think it might be from the quality of the tracking now. If we make the virtual button a little bigger, it might be all that we need for us to actually use buttons.
Right. How much did the tracker kit cost?
It was about $250.
And how many? Was that a single board or more than one?
That was a single board with all the sensors.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the details. This was interesting.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Sure. Okay. See you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you. Okay.
What time is it?
It's after 5.
Let me see.
It's 4:55.
4:55.
4:55.
4:55.
We should add a clock here on the.
Yeah, I was talking.
Yeah, actually, it would be a good idea. Have a wall clock or something.
Yeah.
Well, we've got pretty good feedback so far. That's awesome. Good job, guys.
Yes, it was really nice to present.
Yeah. Good questions.
Mm-hmm. I posted on Slack that we are presenting the demo.
I saw that. I was going to post, and I saw you're faster thinking than I was. So
yes,
that's good.
Mm-hmm. It was nice that Scott could also come here to see.
Yeah. It feels to me that like on Friday, not Friday because I wasn't working, but on Sunday they had steering based, like hand based steering.
Hand based?
With the head based is it's really not so good to fly around.
Well, you could still rotate. with the controller.
Oh,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Right, but it's. I mean, if I want to be looking at you but moving the other way, it's impossible.
No, yeah, no.
I can do it. I can do it.
Well, sideways.
Yeah.
No, but if I want to determine my direction with my hand where I'm pointing, I can.
No. Okay, there's
Well, it
6
depends.
people.
Like I can go in a circle. I'm still facing the same direction, as you see. But all I'm doing is moving my thumb on the track.
But okay, so look at me. Now, looking at me, I want you to go to where the armband is. No, not quite. Oh yeah,
No?
I mean, yeah, but it's not. You have to change your view while you're doing that, and you can only move in 4 directions, right? I mean, forward, backwards, left, and right.
And up and down.
How can you move up and down?
Gaze.
By gaze.
Oh no, without the gaze. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
the,
yeah, no.
The better technique is to do pointing based. So, like, if I want to go down, I point down like I'm pointing now, and then I push.
Yeah, no,
without
I agree.
having to be looking down.
I agree. This is only gaze based. I've tried controller pointing down, and actually I thought pointing the controller down was working, but what I realized later on was I was actually tilting my head.
Yes.
In anticipation, but it wasn't actually.
Yeah, maybe that's why I thought it as well. Because they have gaze based because it's the same technique for VR and desktop, and you don't have hands in the desktop. So. All right.
Yes.
So are those folks still talking up above the mountains?
There's 7 people.
I don't think they are.
There's 7 people connected to this room right now.
The forum co-chairs. But
that's funny.
That's another feature of VR is that you don't. I mean, you may think you have privacy, but you may not have any privacy.
Yes. There's attenuation, but I can still hear you like from this distance.
Yeah, no, there is plenty of attenuation, but
the volume definitely attenuates the further you get.
Yeah, right now I cannot hear Regis anymore.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Barely.
Barely.
Very faint, very quiet.
So maybe they are here because there is 7 people connected to this room. Let's see. Let's find out.
Let's see. Keep talking and see if we can figure out where you are.
Did you guys hear me when I was back there?
Yes.
Yes. Is that Geronimo up there?
Yes.
Do you know what this is? Where we are now?
No, there is nobody here.
The scenario starts with the suspect vehicle pulled over and the officer approaching it.
It's a good question because underground it's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, we have mountains.
Yeah, that's the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and here's the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Yeah.
The vehicle is clear.
It's. I mean the skybox is the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Outcome is the vehicle having issues.
It looks amazing.
By verifying the
Yeah, it's
beforehand can anticipate the actions.
really good.
Walk or teleport is used to approach the
Well, we have more people here in the room. We have 7. So
Yeah, we have 7. I don't know where they are.
interaction with the driver.
I'm sitting in my couch.
The avatar also respond to voice commands.
Does it show people who are in the odds?
Okay, let me find it. Give me a second.
Doesn't look like.
Hello, Andrea.
Oh, there's somebody.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. To whom I'm talking?
This is Regis Copper.
Ah, hi.
I'm one of the authors of this demo.
Oh, pretty cool. Can you tell me something about it?
Sure. Yeah. So this is the idea of this demo is to apply virtual reality as a simulation tool for for technology that is not entirely available yet. For example, ubiquitous computer vision that can recognize objects on like in the wild, and also augmented reality. And in the context of public safety. So for this demo, we used law enforcement traffic stop to design a user interface that could improve their the safety and agility of cops when they stop a car. So the main components of this user interface are a display that is available on demand on a armband. So if you look, let me get the armband. I have one that I can grab here. Yeah. So this armband basically is the main way that we interact with the system. So once we hold it up, we can see a screen that gives us information about the vehicle and the owner of the vehicle. And the driver of the car. And then when we put it down, it just fades away. So it's on demand. It's only there when necessary, and there is no explicit trigger. You just bring up your arm, and then the display will show.
Okay.
And we also have an alert system. So, for example, if you have someone who has an outstanding warrant, you get a red alert and a high vibration to your wrist to tell you that there is potential risk in this stop. And when it's something that's just an alert to say that information is ready, then you get a green alert. And if it's something mild, like the driver's license expired, or the registration of the car is expired, then you get a yellow alert. And the idea here is that we haven't tested it yet, but we're going to evaluate it as our next phase. The idea is to have these different layers of alerts, so that you don't overwhelm the officer, but you still and you maintain their situational awareness, and still being able to convey information that is critical to the officer.
Okay, but it's just a simulation. It's nothing what exists in reality right now.
That is correct. It's a simulation, and the idea, the motivation for this is that we have all this technology that is being developed, and which we don't is not. Sorry, I just teleported myself.
No problem.
That is not our concern in terms of we are not developing the technology. Our concern is with the application of the technology. So before we have AR that will be available for all in the mainstream, that you can have like police officers with that stuff, we have VR that is in a ready state that we can simulate that. So by simulating, we're going to evaluate that with police officers, so that once the technology is available, there's a shorter time to market of the technology, because we would already have some usable UIs available.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's a cool idea. When I looked at the videos and the images beforehand, I recognized that you are using the normal, I don't know, Unity or Unreal hands, so the normal gloves in red and black. Have you thought about exchanging them to, I don't know, blue color or something more police-like?
Yeah, that's a good point. We actually haven't done anything with the hands, just the stock hand from the plugin that we're using for the Steam plugin. But Geronimo, do you want to say anything about it?
Yes. So right now, yeah, we are just using the hands that is provided by the Steam VR plugin. Okay, and of course we are in the future we are gonna like change it to a more like police-like, or maybe just bare hands, not like with a glove, but you can see the yeah.
Okay, because they do not really fit in.
Yeah, this is, and it's a good point that you notice it, because excuse me, it was at the bottom of our priority list, and it's something that's so easy to change that we might as well have done it. But yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's really a minor thing, but it just popped into when I popped into me when I looked on the videos that I said something is not matching the rest, and this was for me just the hands.
Okay,
but I really like the idea. Have you tried it out with? Have you tried it out with real policemen? This idea, whether they like it or
yes. So we haven't experimented with law enforcement yet, but we actually spent a long time, several months, surveying actually police, firefighters, and emergency responders, like paramedics and stuff, because we wanted to create a interfaces. So this is the first one that we have created, but we're going to create for fire and EMS as well. But the main idea is that we don't want to give stuff that will be a distraction or that will just be like technology that's not going to be used. So we wanted to see where we could apply the best of the technology in user interface that could actually be usable, especially with, if you think of first responders and like police in particular, you'd think, and it's true to a large extent, that people are resistant to technology because the technology that they use, they trust, and it's not trivial to substitute that. So we actually interviewed and went on ride-alongs with police officers to see what would make most sense. And NARM-based displays seem to be something that can be quite usable because it does not distract them when they don't need, and it's very lightweight in the sense that they don't need to explicitly trigger it. They just bring it up and let it go as they need. So,
and it will tie into their existing databases and reference their car's computer, so they'll be able to access information that they might have had to go back, or currently have to go back to their car to get. In this case, they'd be able to access that on their arm.
Oh, okay.
And also, the idea is not to substitute what they have now, like the in-car computer. So because they need to issue tickets and other stuff. So this is just for like when they are approaching the driver and they don't have information, and it's for like more situational awareness interface that can help them understand, be on top of the situation.
So, for example, they don't need to go back to the car with the license to query it, which is actually one of the riskiest things, right? Because that's one of the things that I've been, well, we keep repeating our spiel, but it's the first time that you're hearing, so.
No problem at all, that's fine.
But what I was gonna say is that a traffic stop is something that almost always is a very routine, low-risk situation, right? Or you're speeding, okay, so you have a broken tail light, you get a ticket, and that's it. But every now and then there is escalation, and that's when the police officers may just be caught off guard and be vulnerable when they're going back to the car, or even be profiling. Here in the U.S., there's a lot of racial profiling that happens unintentionally, and you get like an excessive amount of innocent people being shot just because the police officers felt threatened, a lot of times just because of the skin color or attitude and stuff like that. So with this, the hope is that this would reduce that because, excuse me, they would not have to rely on their biases as much because they would have the information right then and there.
I see. Okay. Are there any plans to kind of extend the simulation you have now for training purposes for new law enforcement men and women, so that they can learn in which order they have to do all their protocols or something like that?
Not for the current protocols. That's not the goal of our project. There are other people that are working on this. Jason Gerald actually is doing some great stuff in that area. He had a couple of workshop papers. It's actually funded by the same program that we are, and we have a lot of interaction. Our goal is really to study the role of next generation technology. So once the technology becomes available, then this can certainly be used as a training system, because this would be what the cops would be using in the wild. But our focus is really on next generation UIs.
Okay, I see. Well, that's pretty cool.
Thanks, Andrea.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So you're approaching midnight now, or 11 p.m. You're in Germany, right?
I'm in Germany. Yeah, it's 10:15. So,
oh, okay.
Pretty late.
You're 5 hours ahead. Okay.
5 hours, yeah.
I thought it was 6.
No, luckily only 5.
Yeah. So have you been up? Well, it's actually not too bad. It's for the Asians that I feel the most, because it's like 12 hours difference. So it's through the night.
Yeah.
In Australia, New Zealand. Oh,
yeah, I just shifted my day a little bit, so I'm standing up later than usual to be able to stay up late till night.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Zakun, didn't mean to stand on your head.
What?
This is a professional conference, and there's a code of conduct.
What are the next plans for the project you're presenting?
So it's twofold. One is to evaluate this with law enforcement on several different things. We are still designing the study. One of the things we want to evaluate is the notification system that we have, and how that may be beneficial in terms of response, both like with escalating situations and the interface in general. We also want to evaluate different interaction modalities, from like more natural, for example, we walking, or we have a vertex omni, which is arguably not natural, but it's, I mean, at least you're using you're using physical motion. I compare that to more virtual movement. And the other thing that is a progression of the project is to implement these interfaces that we have designed for firefighters and EMS and medical services. So we have the concepts of the UIs, the designs, but we are just starting to implement them now.
Okay, gotcha.
Hopefully next year we're going to have demos on all of them.
Yeah, this would be really cool to see a follow-up of this idea.
Yes.
Because I think it's really supporting law enforcement.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fingers are crossed for the ongoing research.
Thank you. Thanks, Andrea.
Thanks, Andrea.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for giving me all the details. And
sure, yeah.
Yeah, have a good day. For me, it's more in the evening, but I think you have some hours ahead.
Yeah, all right. Good night to you.
Good night. See you later.
See you.
Bye-bye. All right.
Okay.
Well, was successful.
Yes.
We had more. I think we had more traffic today than we did the other day, which is pretty good, because the other day was just half the demos, and today was all the demos. So there has been some word of mouth, I think, going around.
Nice. And also, I have recorded everything like from my screen, so we can have this presentation as well.
Cool. We just need to clear that with people that have been here, just for privacy purposes. Before you're going to make this public.
Okay.
So, but you can ask them. Just you can see everybody who was here. I don't know if you have the name tags on or not.
Yes, the name tags are on.
Yeah. So just follow up with everybody and ask whether. And if it's not, then you can just cut out the people who are not okay.
Okay. Yes.
But I would assume that most people would be fine.
Yes.
We are all fine here.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna take off the headset. I think I've been wearing it for 1.5 hours. So.
I'm leaving as well.
Same.
I think we are done for our profession. Our role in the conference, at least your roles, but stick around and see more talks. Did you actually saw any talks that stood out that you liked?
Yeah, I was watching like the whole day today. Yeah, there was some interesting talks. I really like the idea to like in general to present on hubs as well. The presentations on hubs were really nice.
They're actually better than real world presentations because
yes.
one that I thought did a great job was one about gambling. I don't know if you saw that one yesterday.
That one.
I saw
yes,
part of
yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they had like different panels with like different videos and stuff. They were walking around and
then you can point to things
really
and yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Been anything, Zakun?
I don't know if.
Are you Zakun?
No.
So that's his strategy. He just leaves his avatar.
So I saw a few that stood out, but one in particular today involved using the trackpad of a Vive controller as a method of entering text.
The circular text.
Yes, the circular text, and they had it divided into 6 sections, or actually like 4 sections and 8 sections and 6, and they evaluated which was the best number for that. Zakun says my headphone has some issues.
Okay.
But anyway, is that something that I would appreciate? And I've thought of that before. Like if I want to type while I have the headset on, say I want to do instant messaging, it's kind of a pain to have to reach out and physically touch the keyboard. To be able to do that in world.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's been I don't know if this is similar to that, but it probably is kind of like a marquee menu type thing that you go and it's hierarchical. Is that so? Like, do you select? Because I haven't seen that. Is it something that you select a set of letters to pick from, and then you go from there to more? Or
yes, yeah. So split the alphabet up into 6, and then you select that group, and then from that group you select the letter that you want, and then you start to type, and it gives you suggestions.
That's cool. There's actually a technique from my old lab at Virginia Tech. That's called a rep menu. That's similar to that.
Called a rep
but
menu?
Using the hand. So rep as in the music genre.
Oh,
rep.
Yeah, and the idea is that you use the orientation of your hand, but it's also hierarchical, and you can. So they probably extended that, but that's cool.
I'll have to check that out.
All right, guys, I should go. I should. Oh, hey, Ronkai.
Hey,
I don't know if you can hear.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Hello.
I was just about to head out, but if you want a little spiel here, or you can play the videos. We have one video that's the entire demo, or you have 3 videos on the different parts of our demo.
No problem. Thanks.
Okay,
hey, Geronimo.
Hello.
Nice to meet you here.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Hi, Ronkai.
You are one of the contest players,
How are you doing?
Ronkai?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
Yeah, I'm not running. Are you asking me I'm running the contest? No.
I did, yeah. You did that years before USPS, right?
Yeah, I did for the last 5 or 6 years with this man, this duck man here.
Okay, so maybe that's why I thought you were. It's Pablo and someone else this year, right?
Yeah, Chow and Pablo is doing there, and Kyle put me on the sponsors since we are local.
Okay, cool. Well, all right, I'll head out, but my guys here they stick around. They can answer questions.
No problem.
See you, Ronkai.
See you.
See
you. Bye.
Hey, Benny.
Hey, Ronkai. How's it going?
Good. How about you?
Excellent.
You did not even use your name here, like.
Yes, but you're a panda. Why are you a panda?
Because it's
Isn't
cool.
that somehow kind of... You're an Asian guy, right? That's the reason why you're a panda, right?
No, comparing to the other avatars, I don't want to spend extra time there. Panda is the most special one. Right.
No, it's pretty cool actually. I always I'm a little bit afraid of, like, if you're talking, your head starts to bubble, right?
Yeah.
I'm always waiting for the explosion coming up. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you should have seen Zakun when his microphone and speakers were in a feedback loop. Like, his head was like constantly.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing here?
So okay, yeah. In this demo, we are presenting like some one design that we have done on next generation user interfaces for law enforcement. So we are like researching and developing some the new technology that officers could have in the future, because right now the technology is not available, but maybe in the future this technology like AR displays and other stuff can be really available for like law enforcement. So our idea is to simulate the research, design, and simulate these ideas on virtual reality. And once it's done, maybe people that are developing this hardware can use our designs to implement on future real hardware.
Yeah, so basically just using virtual reality to develop next generation augmented reality interfaces, and we can evaluate these technologies and get feedback from first responders in VR.
Yes.
Oh, pretty cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So after like 6 months of requirement analysis and with law enforcement, one law enforcement agency, we have come with this design of an armband on-demand display that you can see here. Oh, sorry, that's my wall. Let me.
I have one on over here.
Okay, now it's better. So yeah, Marx is using the armband.
Wearing it.
Yes. So when the officer like brings the arm on his side, he can see the information about the traffic stop, relevant information about the traffic stop. In this case, he can see like information about the vehicle and also information about the driver. And this information is simulated right now, but the idea is like to, once this technology is available, like image recognition that can recognize like license plates and driver's license, this information can be fed in real time. So as you can see on this video, I don't know if you watched the video, the whole video, but let me see. Yes. So this, like, it can recognize like these objects, and also gives once the information is pulled, it alerts the officer about the situation, and also yes. So we have used this idea to this traffic stop scenario that we have gathered from the requirement analysis. And I don't know if Mark, do you want to talk more about the armband?
Sure. Well, over the course of the requirement analysis, we went through several interviews with the Hillsborough Police Department in North Carolina. And based on their feedback, we decided this would be a good design. Initially, we thought maybe you'd have a heads-up display attached to glasses or something like that. But one advantage of the armband is that if, let's say, there's an urgent situation, you need to go do something else, you can drop right out of your field of view conveniently. So it's there if you need it, but it's not going to get in your way if you don't. And to track the device, we're using the Virtual Builds Pebble Kit. Has a little Atmel-based board and infrared sensors that work with Steam VR. So we use the Steam VR HDK and they use SolidWorks to put this design together. And between the two, we 3D printed that out, and so it tracks with the Vive base stations.
Yes. And in this case, the display is always showing up here, but it fades away when you are not looking at it, so it doesn't bother like your vision when you're not requiring the information. So
and we're
yes.
also working on haptics. So you receive, say, an alert that, let's say there's a piece of crucial information that's now available, you'll get a vibration on your wrist and you know to go check that. Or if there's an extreme threat, you might have a strong vibration on your wrist and a red glow around your peripheral vision.
Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, I saw the video, and you mentioned this would be the future next generation of augmented reality display. What would be the ideal display in the future? Because right now you're using VR to simulate this scenario, right?
Yes. We think that something attached to the glasses of the officer that you are always wearing, so such as like a HoloLens, but in a smaller form factor, like such as a normal glass that you are using, so it's not like heavy or distracting. That's our idea on how this could be evolved.
Yeah, I think you'd have to wear something like Google Glass, and whether you have a sensor that's like mounted to a wristwatch, or whether it maybe just tracks the shape of your arm, you could have a similar effect.
Mm-hmm. Cool, thanks.
Yes.
Geronimo, when did you join the UNC Greensboro?
Yeah, it was last year. So I started a postdoc there. Actually, it was on November 2018. Yes.
Good. All right.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, see you.
See you around.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you. So Geronimo, do you know those guys from?
Yes, from other conferences. Yeah,
Cool.
because the Hokai, he was the chair of the contest.